Well, good morning. You're watching Today in Parliament with me, Harshwardhan, and here are the Parliament headlines. Discussion on Union Budget to 2020-21 to continue in Lok Sabha. Members to present their views on government's economic policies. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented the budget on 1st of February. Health Minister Dr. Harshwardhan to give statement in Lok Sabha on the steps taken on coronavirus crisis. 13th report of the Business Advisory Committee to be tabled in the lower house. Over 190 private members' bills listed in the business of both houses today. National Council for Waste Management Bill, Refugee and Asylum Bill to be introduced in Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha to take up compulsory voting bill. It is the day of the private members' business in both houses of Parliament today. A total of 16 private member bills are listed for introduction in the upper house. Now, these include the National Council for Waste Management Bill 2019 to be introduced by MP Mahesh Poddar, the Refugee and Asylum Bill 2019 listed for introduction by Member Hussain Dalwai. Member Saroj Pandey will introduce the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Amendment Bill 2020 to further amend the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012. And MP Ronald Sapatlau will move the Single-Use Plastic Regulation Bill 2019 to provide for a framework to achieve the goal of eliminating single-use plastic by the year 2022 for consideration and passing. And the Lok Sabha, meanwhile, has as many as 180 private members' bills listed in today's agenda. Now, some of the key bills include the compulsory establishment of Government Women College Bill 2019 to be moved by MP Ajay Misra Teni for consideration and passing. The compulsory voting bill 2019 will be moved by MP Janardhan Singh to provide for compulsory voting by the electorate is listed for consideration and passing. MP Ashok Kumar Rawat will move the reservation for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in private sectors bill 2020 for introduction. And dual time zones bill 2020 is also listed for introduction by MP Pradyut Bordoloi to establish and demarcate 2 time zones to provide for more practical and inclusive administration of the country. And in some other business in the Lok Sabha, further general discussion on the Union Budget for 2020-21 is also listed in today's agenda. And also Health Minister Dr. Harshwardhan will make a statement regarding the response of the Government of India to novel coronavirus outbreak in China. Let's go across to Kriti Mishra, our colleague who's joining us live from Parliament. Kriti, it is the day of the private members' bills in both houses, and 16 private member bills are listed for introduction in the Lok Sabha and in Rajya Sabha, I beg your pardon. And Lok Sabha has as many as 180 private members' bills listed in today's agenda. Give us more details about these so many private members' bills that are listed in today's agenda in both houses.
Well, Aishwarya, as you know that Friday is the day for transaction of private members' business, and talking about the Rajya Sabha chairman allots 2.5 hours for the transaction of private members' business. And today, several important bills are listed for consideration and passing as well as for introduction. So, member Narendra Jadhav will move a bill for consideration and passage, which is a bill to ensure that national security is given paramount importance while promoting foreign investment in the country. Remember, the member has been raising the issue of Industrial Revolution 4.0, the new technological components like AI and also big analytics. So he would also push for ensuring that the focus on infrastructure and cyber security should be of paramount importance while promoting foreign investment in the country. There's another important bill that would be moved by member Ronald Sabha, which is to regulate single-use plastic in the country. And also member Rajiv Gowda will move a bill for amendment in the Representation of People's Act. And also several important bills are listed for introduction. So member Kirodi Lal Meena will move a private member bill for ensuring that there's uniform civil code in the country, and also member Saroj Pandey will move a bill for protection of children against sexual offences. Talking about the Lok Sabha, several important bills which are private members bills are listed for consideration and passing. So there are several important bills related to farmers. So member Rama Devi will move a bill to establish a national commission for farmers in the country. And also member Vishnu Prasad will move a bill to ensure the protection of families of the farmers, and also another important bill for compulsory voting to ensure that there is participation of the electorate in the election process. That would also be moved in the lower house today. So important bills in both houses of parliament. Aishwarya?
Absolutely important private members' bills in both houses of parliament. And Kriti, yesterday we saw a very important session in both houses. Motion of thanks on the president's address was adopted in both houses yesterday. And today, discussion on the union budget will continue in Lok Sabha, and also, that will be a chance for all the members to present their views on the government's economic policies. And also in the lower house, Dr. Harshwardhan will make a statement regarding the response of the government to coronavirus outbreak in China. That is also going to be very significant, considering the fact that, now more than 600 deaths have been reported, and, the virus has spread to more than 25 countries in the world.
Well, absolutely, Aishwarya. Talking about Union Budget 2020 first, remember the budget had laid down a roadmap for creating a new India. It also was based on three pillars of aspirational India, the economic reforms, and also giving back to the society. There were 16 mega action points for the farmers in the country, and also for pushing the demand and investment and consumption in the country by enhancing the disposable income in the hands of the individuals, by making changes in the tax rules. The budget also talked about tax charter and making India a $5 trillion economy. Now, yesterday, discussion on Union Budget 2020-21 commenced in the lower house, and member Manish Tiwari of the Congress party actually questioned the government on the roadmap to create a $5 trillion economy. Several opposition members also questioned the government on the disinvestment target, meanwhile refuting all the allegations of the opposition parties. Member Jain Sinha of the BJP said that the government is marching ahead to make India a $10 trillion economy. So that the discussion is likely to continue in the House today, where the members will put forth their viewpoints. Another important element in Parliament today would be the statement of Health and Family Welfare Minister Harshwardhan on coronavirus. Remember, the government has already established a quarantine facility in Manesar, and also has established a national helpline number. So this is an international epidemic, this deadly virus that found the genesis in Wuhan city of China. So a very important statement would be made by the Health and Family Welfare Minister to actually combat this disease. Aishwarya?
All right, Kriti. Thank you so much for all those updates there. And in the other legislative business in the Rajya Sabha, ministers will lay papers pertaining to their ministries on the table. Let's take a look at some of them. Purushottam Rupala for the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare. Angadi Suresh Channabasappa for the Ministry of Railways. A look at the other legislative business in the Lok Sabha, and following ministers will lay papers pertaining to their ministries on the table. Narendra Singh Tomar for the Ministry of Rural Development. S. Jaishankar for the Ministry of External Affairs. Smriti Irani for the Ministry of Textiles and the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Dr. Harshwardhan for the Ministry of Science and Technology and the Ministry of Earth Sciences. Prakash Javadekar for the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. Rao Inderjeet Singh for the Ministry of Planning. Shripad Yesu Naik for the Ministry of Ayush. Ashwini Kumar Chaube for the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Babul Supriyo for the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change. Anurag Singh Thakur for the Ministry of Finance. Ratan Lal Kataria for the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Debashri Chaudhary for the Ministry of Women and Child Development. Union Minister Dr. Harshwardhan will also make a statement regarding the Standing Committee report on Health and Family Welfare on demands for grants 2018-19 pertaining to his ministry. And MPs Prahlad Joshi and Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary will present the 13th report of the Business Advisory Committee as well in the lower house. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Today in Parliament. Do stay tuned. The proceedings of the Rajya Sabha are going to commence in a short while at 11 a.m. Thanks so much for your time.